A United States general stood before the Senate Armed Services Committee. He was not there to discuss a foreign adversary. He was describing what an AI system had done to the United States government's most protected systems. His words were precise, not in weeks, in hours. The AI that did this was not built by an adversary. It was built by Anthropic, and it was built to protect us. The model is called Claude Mythos Preview. Anthropic describes it as a general-purpose frontier AI that has crossed a specific and significant threshold. It can find and exploit software vulnerabilities at a level that surpasses all but the most skilled humans on Earth. Not just finding them, exploiting them. Anthropic concluded that releasing this model publicly would make large-scale cyber attacks significantly more likely, so they did not release it. Instead, they built something else entirely. Project Glasswing. On April 7, 2026, Anthropic announced an initiative unlike anything the AI industry had attempted before. Rather than releasing their most capable model to the public, they restricted it entirely to a vetted coalition of organizations responsible for the world's most critical software infrastructure: Amazon Web Services, Apple, Broadcom, Cisco, CrowdStrike, Google, JP Morgan Chase, the Linux Foundation, Microsoft, NVIDIA, Palo Alto Networks. Each partner was given controlled access to Claude Mythos Preview, specifically and exclusively for defensive security work, scanning their own systems for vulnerabilities before attackers could find and exploit them. Anthropic committed up to $100 million in usage credits to support the program. The name comes from the glasswing butterfly. Its wings are transparent, making it nearly invisible while in plain sight. The same principle applies to the vulnerabilities Glasswing was designed to find, flaws hidden inside critical software for years, sometimes decades, invisible to human security teams, waiting to be discovered by whoever found them first. The results arrived quickly. Within 2 months of the program's launch, Glasswing partners had collectively surfaced more than 10,000 high and critical severity software vulnerabilities across every major operating system and every major web browser. Mozilla found and fixed 271 vulnerabilities in Firefox alone, more than 10 times the number found using a previous Anthropic model. Several partners reported that their rates of bug discovery had increased by more than tenfold after deploying the model. The vulnerability numbers were significant, but they were not the number that changed the conversation. That came from inside a United States Senate hearing room. Senator Mark Warner, citing testimony from General Joshua Rudd, disclosed what Mythos Preview had demonstrated when tested against classified United States government systems. The model had broken into almost all of them. Not in weeks, in hours. Let that land for a moment. The most defended digital systems operated by the United States government. Systems protected by some of the most sophisticated security infrastructure ever built, penetrated by an AI model in hours. The disclosure explained something that had previously been reported without full context. In June of 2026, the Trump administration directed Anthropic to restrict access to Mythos for foreign nationals, citing national security concerns. Anthropic complied, though the company stated publicly that it disagreed with aspects of the assessment. The general's testimony suggests the government may have had specific and concrete reasons for that concern. A model capable of penetrating classified government systems in hours is not simply a productivity tool. It is something governments have historically treated very differently. Project Glasswing was announced to the world as a defensive initiative. Defenders first. Patch the vulnerabilities before the adversaries find them. Protect the infrastructure billions of people depend on. That framing is accurate as far as it goes. The program has done what it said it would do. The vulnerabilities are real. The partners are real. The results are real. But that is not the complete picture. Reports have emerged suggesting that Anthropic is simultaneously assisting the United States National Security Agency in deploying Mythos for offensive cyber operations, specifically to infiltrate the networks of adversarial nations. If accurate, this creates a contradiction at the center of Project Glasswing's public narrative. The same model being offered to global partners as a defensive tool, the same model being used to penetrate the systems of other nations simultaneously. This is not unprecedented in the history of powerful technologies, but it is worth naming clearly, because dual use has always been the story of the most capable tools humanity has built. The capability that defends is usually the same capability that attacks. The only question is who controls it and what they decide to do with it. Anthropic has been explicit about one thing throughout. The current situation is temporary. The window between a vulnerability being discovered and being exploited by an adversary has collapsed. What once took months now happens in minutes, and the defensive advantage that Glasswing provides exists only because Mythos Preview is not yet in the hands of adversaries. That window will not stay open indefinitely. A joint report from the Cloud Security Alliance, the SANS Institute, and OWASP concluded that organizations are likely to be overwhelmed in the near term by threat actors using AI to find and exploit vulnerabilities faster than defenders can patch them. Not a distant future scenario. The near term. Logan Graham, head of Anthropic's Frontier Red Team, stated it directly. We basically need to start preparing for a world where there is zero lag between discovery and exploitation. The expansion of Glasswing from 50 initial partners to roughly 200 organizations across 15 countries in under 2 months reflects how seriously the security community is taking that warning. ICE and the New York Stock Exchange are now running Mythos against their own exchange and clearinghouse infrastructure. Healthcare systems, power grids, water treatment facilities, communications networks, critical infrastructure that, if compromised at scale, would affect not millions but hundreds of millions of people simultaneously. And the patch pipeline has not kept pace. Security teams that once had weeks to triage, verify, and deploy fixes now face a window measured in hours. The bottleneck has moved from finding vulnerabilities to fixing them fast enough to matter. And at the center of all of it, a model capable of surpassing all but the most skilled humans at finding and exploiting the vulnerabilities hiding inside the systems the modern world runs on. There is a version of this story that is straightforwardly hopeful. A company builds a powerful tool, recognizes the danger of releasing it broadly, channels it carefully toward defense, finds tens of thousands of vulnerabilities before attackers do, makes the world meaningfully safer. That version exists, it is real, and it should be acknowledged. But there is another version living inside the same story. A model too powerful to release publicly, controlled by a single private company, deployed at the discretion of that company and the government agencies it works with, capable of penetrating the most protected systems in the world. Controlled, for now, by one organization, making decisions that affect the security architecture of the entire world. Without a public vote, without an international framework, without a mechanism for the billions of people whose systems are being scanned, patched, or potentially penetrated to weigh in on any of it. The glasswing butterfly is nearly invisible while in plain sight. That is the point of the name. The vulnerabilities were always there, hidden in plain sight. Inside systems people trusted completely. Project Glasswing found them. And as always, this is Ghost in the BIOS. And until next time, stay human.